to the third lecture of fluid kinematics. Third unit of fluid kinematics. Today, in the lecture number 2, we are going to discuss about fluid flow and visualization of flow pattern. Myself, Praveen H. Yadav, Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department. So in last lecture, we have discussed about what is means by fluid kinematics and what is meant by fluid dynamics. If we are forcing only on the velocity and acceleration of moving fluid, then it is called as fluid kinematics. In fluid kinematics, nowhere we are considering about the energies and forces acting on the fluid. So that is why it is called as fluid kinematics. And if we are considering the forces as well as energies acting on the fluid, then it is called as fluid dynamics. Kinematics and dynamics both are related with the when fluid flow in motion. So in last lecture also we have discussed about what is Eulerian method and what is Lagrangian method, and what is the similarities and what is the difference, and by that we have calculated the velocities and acceleration in terms of vector quantity. In today's lecture we are going to focus on fluid flow and visualization of fluid flow pattern. So in fluid flow and visualization of fluid flow pattern, mainly we are going to provide the focus on types of fluid flow pattern. Actually here it is facing some problem. Okay. So learning objective of today's lecture is to know about method of fluid flow, and second is to understand about visualization of fluid flow pattern. After end of this lecture, you will be able to explain different methods of fluid flow, and you will be able to explain about visualization of fluid flow pattern. Before moving towards it, we'll discuss about some important phenomena, that is local acceleration and convective acceleration. So what is local acceleration? Local acceleration is defined as the ratio of increase of velocity with respect to time at a given point in a fluid flow. That is, if acceleration of fluid flow goes on increasing with respect to time, then it is called as a local flow velocity, or local acceleration. Sorry, it is called as a local acceleration, and therefore local acceleration can be given as it is the dabba v by dabba t, where dabba v is nothing but increase in velocity and dabba t is nothing but change in time. Now convective acceleration. What is convective acceleration? It is defined as the rate of change of velocity due to the change of position of fluid particle in a fluid flow. Then it is called as a convective acceleration. That is, here what is difference between local acceleration and convective acceleration? Local acceleration is nothing but change in velocity with respect to time, and here the change of velocity due to the change of position of fluid particle is nothing but convective acceleration. Therefore, convective acceleration can be given as is equals to v into dabba v by dabba s, where dabba v is nothing but change in velocity, dabba s is nothing but change in position. And the total acceleration is nothing but the summation of local acceleration plus convective acceleration. That's the summation of local acceleration plus convective acceleration. Now, by using this phenomenon, it can be possible to calculate the total acceleration. Now, local acceleration and convective acceleration, in this the terminologies are: convective acceleration terms are u into dabba u by dabba x, v into dabba u by dabba y, w into dabba u by dabba z, whereas local acceleration is here dabba u by dabba t. That is, change in velocity with respect to time is local acceleration. With respect to displacement in x, y and z direction is nothing but convective acceleration. Similarly, for a acceleration in y direction and acceleration in z direction, that is u into dabba v by dabba x, v into dabba v by dabba y, plus w into dabba v by dabba z, plus dabba v by dabba t. Here the first three terminologies are related with convective acceleration, and second term is local acceleration, and the total acceleration is summation of both that we have CNET here, local acceleration plus convective acceleration. Now we'll take some examples based on the local acceleration and convective acceleration. The velocity along the center line of nozzle of length L is given by V is equals to 2t. V is equals to 2t into 1 minus x divided by 2L bracket square, where V is equals to velocity in meter per second, T is nothing but time in second for component of flow, commencement of flow, x is nothing but distance from inlet of the nozzle. Then calculate local acceleration, convective acceleration and total acceleration when t is equals to 6 seconds, x is equals to 1 meter and length is equals to 1.6 meter. Now this is in this problem we have got the equation of velocity for the center line of nozzle having length L, and that is given as V is equals to 2t into 1 minus x by 2L bracket square. Now local acceleration is nothing but dabba V by dabba t. So taking derivative of V term, we will get 2 into 1 minus x divided by 2L bracket square. Here we have calculated the derivative by implementing the formula of derivative of two quantities when they are in multiplied stage. That is derivative of first right second plus first derivative of second. So here derivative of second, that is second terminology, 1 minus x divided by 2L bracket square is the constant, so it is equals to 0. In a first derivative of first is nothing but 2t, derivative of t is 1, so 2 into right second as it is 1 minus x divided by 2L bracket square. So that's why we have got here the local acceleration. Now at t is equals to 6 seconds and L is equals to 1.6 meter and x is equals to 1 meter, dabba V by dabba t can be given as it is equals to 2 into 1 minus x value is 1 divided by 2 into L value is 1.6 bracket square. So it is equals to 0.945 meter per second square. Now convective acceleration. Now we know that convective acceleration is nothing but V into dabba V by dabba x. Here V is equals to 2t into 1 minus x divided by 2L bracket square. So we can write it 2t into 1 minus x by 2L bracket square into 2t into 2 into 1 minus x by 2L into minus 1 by 2L. Here again we have taken the product and its derivative. So it is 4t square by L into 1 minus x by 2L cube. Now again put out the values. T is equals to 6 seconds, x is equals to 1 meter and L is equals to 1.6 meter. We will get convective acceleration is equals to 4 into 6 square divided by 1.6 into 1 minus 1 upon 2 into 1.6 bracket cube. So it is equals to minus 29.24 meter per second. Now total acceleration is nothing but summation of local acceleration plus convective acceleration. So it is equals to 0.945 plus minus 29.24. So the total acceleration is minus 28.295 meter per second square. What it indicates? Here negative sign indicates that there is the retardation. There is the retardation. Now types of fluid flow. Fluid flow are classified according to its condition: steady state flow, unsteady state flow, uniform flow, non-uniform flow, laminar flow, turbulent flow, compressible flow, incompressible flow, rotational flow and irrotational flow, 1, 2 and 3-dimensional flow. So this all classification is based on the behavior of the fluid. If fluid moves in a steady state direction, then it is called as a steady flow. If it is in unsteady flow direction, then unsteady state, then it is called as an unsteady flow. If it flows with the uniform velocity, then it is called uniform flow. If it is not, then it is called as a non-uniform flow. Laminar flow and turbulent flow is dependent on the Reynolds number. If the flow is moving in a smooth line, all the particles are moving in a straight line, then it is called as a laminar flow. And if it is not moving in a straight line, then it is called as a turbulent flow. If fluid is compressible, if the fluid flow is compressible, then it is called as a compressible flow. If it is in incompressed state, then it is called as an incompressible flow. So like that, this classification has been given. Now steady flow, the steady flow in which the fluid characteristics like velocity, pressure, density at a point do not changes with respect to time. Velocity, pressure and density not changes at with respect to time, then it is called as a steady flow. That is, it should move in any direction, there should not be any change in velocity, pressure and density. So mathematically we will write this as dabba u by dabba t of x naught, y naught, z naught is equals to 0. Dabba v by dabba t of x naught, y naught, z naught is equals to 0. And dabba w by dabba t of x naught, y naught, z naught is equals to 0 with respect to the velocity. With respect to pressure, dabba t by dabba t of x naught, y naught, z naught is equals to 0. That is no change in pressure. And dabba rho by dabba t is of x naught, y naught, z naught is equals to 0, and so on. That is, it shows that there is no any change in velocity, pressure as well as density with respect to time. For example, flow through a conduit or pipe with constant flow rate. Here there is no any change in velocity, pressure or density of the fluid. It will be flows in a straight direction. The second thing is release at spillway notch with a constant head water. So here this is the spillway, here this is the notch, and through notch if the flow is continuously flowing outside, then again it is the example of, again this is the example of steady state flow. Now in unsteady flow, opposite to that, there is the change in velocity, pressure and density with respect to the time, then it is called as an unsteady flow. So again here dabba u by dabba t, dabba v by dabba t and dabba w by dabba t is not equals to 0. There should be some sort of changes. Similarly, there should be change in pressure, dabba v by dabba t and dabba rho by dabba t. For example, flow of water with varying discharge through a pipe is an example of unsteady flow. Varying discharge through the pipe. Now uniform flow. Which flow type is called as an uniform? The flow in which velocity at any given time does not changes with space, then it is called as a uniform. So dabba v by dabba s when t is equals to constant is equals to 0. So in the longitudinal direction we have taken example, flow through a straight conduit with constant diameter is the example of uniform flow. Opposite to that, in non-uniform flow, velocity at any given time changes with the space. That is, the flow in which velocity at a given time changes with respect to space, length or direction of flow is called as a non-uniform flow. For example, varying cross-sectional area of pipe. In that direction, if the flow direction position has been changes, its velocity will goes on changing. That is, according to position, velocity of fluid flow is changing. Now flow combinations and examples. Flow at constant rate through a duct of uniform cross section, it is steady uniform flow. Flow at constant rate through a duct of non-uniform cross section is steady non-uniform flow. The flow at varying rate through a long straight pipe of uniform cross section is unsteady uniform flow, and flow at varying rate through a duct of non-uniform cross section is unsteady and non-uniform flow. So this is the combination of that two conditions, uniform and uniform or ununiform, steady or unsteady flow. So if the flow rate is of also a constant rate and passes through a uniform cross section, then it is a steady because it is flowing at a constant rate, and since it is passes through the uniform cross section, it is uniform flow. If flow at constant rate through a duct of non-uniform cross section, that is tapered pipe example is, then since it is flowing at a constant rate, it is steady, but as cross sectional area goes on increases, it is non-uniform flow. Similarly, if flow is passing at a varying rate, that is, it is unsteady flow, but passes through a long uniform cross sectional pipe, then it is unsteady uniform flow. And if the flow rate is also varies with respect to time and also varies with respect to cross section or distance, that is duct of non-uniform cross section, then it is called as an unsteady non-uniform flow. So this is the flow combinations. Now laminar flow, the flow in which the fluid particles moves along a well-defined path, that is each layer are straight and parallel, then it is called as laminar flow. So this is the example of laminar flow. Here if you can see, the flow is passes through the, if the flow is passes through a straight line, then it is called as a laminar flow. For example, flow through capillary tubes or flow of blood in veins. There are some conditions we have mentioned. The fluid moves slowly, viscosity is relatively high, and if the flow channel is relatively small, then and then only we will be able to get a laminar flow. Blood flow through the capillary is a laminar flow as it satisfies the all three conditions. Moves slowly, viscosity is high, and flow channel is relatively very small, because we know that what is the size of our capillary, blood capillaries. Non-mixing between the layers is most more important phenomenon for laminar flow. Whereas in a turbulent flow, the flow in which the fluid particles moves in a zigzag way, that is each layer are not straight and not parallel, then it is called as a turbulent flow. So in a turbulence, there is the mixing between different flow lines. There is the mixing between two flow lines. So high velocity flow in a large conduct or large pipe is the example of turbulent flow. Now Reynolds number. Suppose D is the cross-sectional area of the pipe through which flow is flowing. If it is flowing in a straight line, then it is called as a laminar flow. If it is in a mixing zone, then it is called as a turbulent flow. Now Reynolds number can be calculated as rho into Vd divided by mu, or we can say that it is Vd divided by nu. So here rho is the density of fluid, V is the mean velocity, D is the diameter of tube, then mu is the dynamic viscosity of the fluid, and nu is the kinematic viscosity of the fluid. So kinematic viscosity is nothing but rho divided by mu. So for laminar and tubular flows are characterized by the basis of Reynolds number. If Reynolds number is less than 2000, then flow in a pipe is called as a laminar flow. If the Reynolds number is more than 4000, then the flow is called as a turbulent flow. And if the Reynolds number lies between 2000 to 4000, then it may be laminar or may be turbulent. That is, it is in a transient situation. Now one-dimensional flow. It is the type of flow in which the flow pattern, such as velocity, is a function of time and one space coordinate only. Then it is called as a one-dimensional flow. That is, mathematically u is function of x, where v and w is equals to 0. That is, we are going to consider only the flow in one direction. That is, u, v and w are the velocity components of x, y, z directions, and if the know any velocity at y and z direction, then it is called as a one-dimensional flow. For example, flow in a pipe when average flow parameters are considered for analysis. This is the examples of some one-dimensional flow. Okay, now we'll move further for the second two-dimensional flow. If two velocity factors are there and third one is absent, then it is called as a two-dimensional flow. So you have f1 xy, v is equals to f2 of xy, and w is equals to 0 is the condition for two-dimensional flow. And examples are flow between parallel plate of infinite element, flow in the main stream of water river. So this is the examples of two-dimensional flow over others. And in three-dimensional, all component of u, v and w are alive, that is having non-zero values. That is, u is the function of x, y, z, v is the function of x, y, z, and w is the function of x, y, z. Then it is called as a three-dimensional flow. Flow in a converging or diverging pipe or channel is example of three-dimensional flow. Or flow in a prismatic open channel in which width and the water depth are of the same order of magnitude, then it is called as a three-dimensional flow. So this is are the some examples of three-dimensional flow, that is fluid coming out from the dam at the example of three-dimensional flow. And last category, that is rotational and irrotational flow. A flow is said to be rotational if the fluid particles, while moving in the direction of flow rotates about their mass center, then it is called as a rotational flow. The flow near the solid bodies is rotational. For example, motion of liquid in a rotating tank. And whereas opposite to that, irrotational flow is said to be an irrotational if the fluid particles, while moving in the direction of flow, do not rotate about their mass center. That is, the flow outside the boundary layer is generally considered as an irrotational. Or the flow above a drain hole of stationary tank or a wash basin is example of irrotational flow. So here some fluid particles are not rotating, and rotational boundary layer region below that the fluid particles are rotating. And last one is the compressible and incompressible flow. It is the type of flow in which the density of the fluid changes from the point to point, then it is called as a compressible fluid flow. And if the density does not changes with respect to time, then it is called as an incompressible flow. So all gases are examples of compressible flow, and water is ideally considered as an incompressible fluid flow. These are some examples of compressible and incompressible fluid flow. Here we'll take one again example. In a fluid, the velocity field is given by v is equals to 3x plus 2y I plus 2z plus 3x square j plus 2t minus 3z k. Then determine the velocity component u, v, w, the speed at point 111 and the speed at point time t is equals to 2 seconds and 0.002. Also classify the velocity field as a steady state or unsteady, uniform or non-uniform, one-dimensional, two-dimensional or three-dimensional. Here we have to calculate the velocity component u, v and w for different speed and time, and also we have to identify that whether flow is uniform or non-uniform, steady or unsteady, and whether it is of one-dimensional, two-dimensional or three-dimensional. So velocity components are given by u, v and w with respect to by considering v is equals to ui plus vj plus wk. Now speed at point 111, that is when v is equals to 111. Put the values of x is equals to 1, y is equals to 1 and z is equals to 1 in above equation. You will get the value of u, v and w. So u is equals to 5, v is equals to 5 and w is equals to -1. So it's of equals to 2t minus 3. So it's of equals to u is equals to 5 unit, v is equals to 5 unit and w is equals to 2t minus 3 units. So we know that v square is equals to u square plus v square plus w square. So velocity can be given as 5 square plus 2t minus 3 bracket square. So it is nothing but 4t square minus 12t plus 59 is equals to v square. Now taking the root, v can be given as v is equals to 4t square plus 12t minus plus 59. Now speed at t is equals to 2 seconds and 0.002. Again put x is equals to 0, y is equals to 0 and z is equals to 2, u is equals to 0, v is equals to 4 and w is equals to -2. Now v square, again calculate, v square is equals to 20 unit. So v is nothing but square root of 4.472 units. Again since velocity field type, since v at given xyz depends on t, it is unsteady flow. Since at a given t velocity changes in x direction, so it is non-uniform flow. And again Since V depends on X, Y, Z, it is three-dimensional flow. Okay. Now visualization of fluid flow pattern. So how could we visualize the flow pattern? The flow velocity is the basic description of how a fluid moves in a time and space. But in order to visualize the fluid flow pattern, it is useful to define some other properties of the flow. These definitions corresponding to the various experimental methods of visualizing fluid flow. So car surface pressure counters and streamlines are shown at here, or if the any obstacle is placed in the flowing fluid of pipe or in a flowing fluid, then flow behavior around the surrounding of that circular component is nothing but visualization of fluid flow pattern. Here are some examples when wings spreading shaped body is kept, then streamline flow of water or flow through a skiing athlete. These are some examples they have shown it here. Now type of flow pattern: streamline, path lines, or streak lines. Flow around cylindrical object is the example of streamline. Flow around from point A1 to A2 is given the path of fluid flow, and streak lines are giving the directions through which fluid flows are passing. So path line is the trace made by a single particle over a period of time. So path line shows the direction of particular particle as it moves ahead. So it is in general, this is the curve in three-dimensional space. However, if the conditions are such that the flow is two-dimensional, the curve becomes two-dimensional. So initially the fluid particle at t is equals to t start, then this path line fluid particles at some intermediate space, and finally fluid particles at t is equals to t end. Now these are some examples of path line. Now streamline. In a streamline way may be defined as an imaginary line within the flow, so that the tangent at a given point on it indicates the velocity of particular that point. So this is the examples of some streamline flow. So here we are showing the behavior of the fluid. So equation of streamline in three-dimensional can be given as dx by u plus dy by v plus dz by w. So the series of streamline presents the flow pattern at an instant. In a steady flow, the pattern of streamline remains invariant with respect to the time. So the path lines and streamlines will then be identical. In unsteady flow, the pattern of streamlines may be or may not be remain the same for the next instant. Stream tube is the fluid mass bounded by a group of streamlines. Then it is called as a stream tube. The components of streamline are shown in a current filament. Stream tube is an imaginary tube whose boundary conditions consist of streamlines. The volume of flow rate must be the same for all cross section of the stream tube. The example of stream tube: pipes flow through the pipe and nozzle are the examples. And this is the streak line. So streak line is curve which gives instant picture of the location of the fluid particle which have passed through a given point. So it is called as a streak line. So it gives only the instantly pictures. So streak line, here the fluid comes out from the nozzle. This is the nozzle and this is the smoke generator. So streak line of smoke issue from the nozzle is shown at here. The path taken by the smoke coming out from the chimney, or in an experimental work to trace the motion of fluid particle, a colored dye may be injected into the flowing fluid flow around the colorful filament lines at a given location is given by the streak lines. These are some examples of streak lines. So by this lecture, we have discussed about different types of flows and flow visualization. Also, we have seen one problem based on initial velocity and acceleration relationship. In next lecture, we will start with the next point. So thank you meanwhile. Thank you very much for patient listening.